Why do we season our food? Let's start off real quick. I'm Chef Will Rufe, and I am one of the chefs in our culinary department here at NCC. And one of the biggest differences I find between the average home cook and a professional chef is seasoning. So I'd like to discuss a little bit about the conceptual nature of seasoning. First of all, what do we mean by seasoning? Well, seasoning is an ingredient or ingredients that are added to foods that can enhance or bolster or improve existing flavors. But there's a really, really big key word in here, existing. It only enhances existing flavors, flavors that are already there. So let's talk about some examples. Let's talk about the big one, salt. It's the best, right? Salt has an amazing ability to kind of focus the flavor of whatever you're eating it with. It brings it to the front of your tongue, and it kind of makes it more intense. It's awesome. My favorite one, citrus. Citrus is a very, very high acid ingredient, so it helps to kind of make things exciting, but it's also raw and uncooked and unfermented. So it has a very, very simple flavor, and added in appropriate amounts, you can really get some awesome flavors from it. Vinegar. Here's another high acid ingredient that can really enhance things, but this is also sometimes cooked, and it's always fermented. So it brings some other things to the table that might complicate things. Then we have pepper, and I know what you're thinking. Wait, what? I thought that you said things like seasoning weren't supposed to bring new flavors to the table, and I get that. Let's talk about it. Pepper has a chemical inside of it called piperin that actually is able to promote salivation in your mouth. And salivation kind of gets things moving. And now that your mouth is watering with these things, all these flavors are cascading over your tongue. And now your taste buds are picking up more flavors. That's awesome, right? Another awesome seasoning is MSG. It does a great job of enhancing flavors that are already there. And generally, for most people, it's completely safe. But that's for another TEDx. That's not today. So wait, why do we season our food? Why do we do this? Well, there's three main reasons. Number one, it removes water. It helps to break down some of the proteins and different things going on in your ingredients and then release some water on the surface. That's good because we're actually trying to condense some flavors when we cook things, right? So we want to make sure that that flavor has the least amount of water kind of inhibiting it. Secondly, because of that removal of water, it helps things caramelize. And caramelization is delicious. We use a thing in the culinary arts, we say BFTG, brown food tastes good. Whenever you see a student doing something and they're not sauteing correctly and they have the heat on really, really low, I'll say BFTG, and I'll go, sorry chef. So brown food tastes good. With the removal of water comes more opportunity for caramelization, and that makes things taste delicious. And lastly, just what I said, it makes things taste delicious. Salt and seasonings can bring all these things to the front of your mouth, make them taste more intense than they were before and previously, which is good, right? So seasoning makes your food taste its best, importantly, without adding new flavors. Okay, everyone follow me so far? Now, here's a graph. When you season, you become way cooler. This is a graph here, and that's just science. So people who season their food are way cooler, and I know you guys want to be cool too, right? So what about my favorite spice blend? There's Old Bay, and there's Montreal steak seasoning. It's got seasoning in the name, right? That's a cool seasoning, right? Well, I'm going to call those things flavorings. Flavorings, they add new flavors to an item, and they're cool too. We'll talk about them a little bit. Flavorings are awesome. That's a whole slide. But they are often the most prominent flavors in a dish. But they add new flavors. Keep that in mind, okay? Think about tacos, just like I do, like 24 hours a day. I love tacos so much. So, tacos. When I ask you to think about tacos, think of them in your mind right now. You're eating a taco. What are the flavors that come to your mind? Now, even though, let's say we made standard beef tacos. Beef, or maybe the tortilla, has the highest mass of anything in the dish. So that should be the most assertive flavor, right? See, I'm not quite sure that that's true. I don't think the beef flavor or even the salt flavor, the seasoning, is the thing that you're thinking about. I'm thinking more like, I don't know, cumin, tomato, onions, chilies, garlic, right? Those are the things that come to the front of your mouth. Well, they're flavorings. Flavorings love to be the center of attention. They love to be the most exciting things. Even if the cast is made up of a whole bunch of more, other items, flavorings want the spotlight, okay? Everyone still following along? We're good? So let's try an experiment for seasonings versus flavorings. And I know experiments can be a little bit weird. I actually want you guys to close your eyes. Everyone cool with that? Close your eyes. So what I want you to do in your head is I want you to imagine a single flavor. I'm going to use chicken in my example because that's just, I love chicken. But I want you to think of something. It could be something else if you want, but I'm going to name some dishes that have to do with that. And I want you to keep the flavor of just chicken in your mind. Just think just chicken. Nothing complicated, just the flavor of chicken. I'm going to say some things, and I want you to just keep the flavor of chicken in your mind, okay? Chicken Parmesan. We'll go to the next one. Chicken Marsala. Chicken curry. Maybe an Indian version, maybe a Caribbean version. How about barbecue chicken? You're still keeping that chicken in your mind. How about Thai red curry chicken? And then the last one is, how about chicken shawarma? One of my favorites. All right, we can open our eyes back up. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question. Was it difficult to keep the flavor of just chicken in your mind when I'm mentioning these things, right? When I say chicken parm, what are you thinking? You're thinking tomatoes, you're thinking cheese, you're thinking cool stuff like that. And it's pretty difficult to just focus on chicken, right? Well, those items, things like tomatoes and things like cheese, that was a flavoring. That was just a flavoring, okay? So if it's really, really hard to think of a specific flavor in a dish, it's probably a flavoring. Everyone get that? Everyone cool with that? Cool. That's cool, though. Flavorings are awesome. We love flavorings. I, myself, am a huge fan. Flavor is what we're after. It's the most important thing. And both seasoning and flavorings work together to make food taste delicious. They're like, I don't know, Batman and Robin. They're like two sides of a coin. They're like you and your best friend in middle school. They're pretty cool on their own, but they're really, really good when they get together, right? So let's bring it on home. Y'all have places to be. There's other speakers coming up. So let's bring it all together. Seasoning is really, really important. And it's the place you should start when you want to make sure that your food tastes its best. It doesn't matter at what level you cook. Some of the best chefs and culinarians that I have ever had the pleasure of working with never step foot inside of a restaurant. They are grandmas in a kitchen rolling out dumplings. They are, aunts that made pernil for me. There's all these things, and they never were inside a kitchen. Seasoning is a thing that will help you cook better no matter what level you're at. Your food tastes better when it's seasoned. It'll bring your food to the best possible level it can be. It'll make sure that all the things that you worked really, really hard to get going, searing and browning and all these marinatings you did, seasonings will work together. Why is that again? Well, we'll talk about it. Seasoning helps remove moisture. Remember that one. It helps with caramelization because the moisture is gone. And last, because of those first two, it makes food taste the best that it can possibly be. Cool? Everyone following along still? So bonus round. Some seasonings can even stimulate and encourage salivation, like we talked about pepper, right? But also salt can do things like put your taste buds practically in a state of panic. So pepper and salt together, one of them increases salivation, one of them makes your taste buds like, I'm ready, let's do this. That's why you kind of see them so ubiquitously together. When you go to a diner, what do you see on the table? Salt and pepper, right? Why is that? That's the reason. They're Batman and Robin. If there's one thing that I want you to remember from this conversation is seasonings versus flavorings and what their roles are and how they affect the food that you eat. Flavorings are great, but they bring new elements to a dish, and it can kind of blur the focus of the dish, make it taste better, but it won't be focused on one singular ingredient. And seasonings are powerful additions that actually enhance the flavors that are already there. Seasonings even make your flavorings taste better. This is why in Old Bay you've got the salt. In the McCormick, the Montreal steak seasoning, you've got big old chunks of kosher salt in there too. They work together very, very well. And understanding their relationship with your food and how they interact with each other will make you able to, cook deliciously. It may take some time to get good at, and that's completely cool. Because the best part about this is every time you get a little bit better at it, you get to eat that. It's awesome, right? So your food will get better and better, and it'll pay you, a little bit of interest here and there. It'll reward you as you get better. Your food will get better and better and better, and the whole time your friends will be complimenting you. Wow, when did you get so cool? You're cooler than an astronaut now. Remember that slide? So go out there and season your food correctly. It's going to be delicious. Thank you.